I really went hard on this loading screen. Well, as most of you know, the World of Magic will be getting a remake. The remake was announced by this absolute jumpscare of a letter from the developers. They also explained here why they need a remake and basically dropped the patch notes that will come with the prelude of a new era, hinting that this is only the beginning of the changes. And if you have been living under a rock for the past few weeks and still have no idea what is happening, I actually made a video that goes deep as to why they need a remake on a technical level. But in this video, we will be looking into what they changed. Some of you may have already seen this list but have no idea what it actually means. The first part of the list may be the one that causes the most confusion among the players. What exactly does it mean to change the game engine? Well, you're in the right place because as an individual who has zero qualifications to talk about game development, I will teach you everything you need to know about this update. Well, I can just mumble around here and throw random jargons to make myself seem smarter than I actually am, but let's put it in simpler terms. Think of the game engine as a toolbox for the developers. It is a collection of tools they need to develop a game. For example, the old engine is just a bunch of regular tools, and the new engine is a bunch of power tools. Well, obviously, if you're a carpenter, you don't need power tools to create stuff, but it sure will make a whole lot of difference because it can make your job way easier and possibly the quality of your product higher. And I'm perfectly aware that there are skilled carpenters out there that can make good quality products with just regular tools, but that's not the case most of the time. So, let's say that there are two carpenters of the same skill level, Carpenter A and Carpenter B. A uses regular tools while B uses power tools. And some dude asked them to make a table that can stand on its own within 2 hours. Carpenter A finished it within 2 hours. And Carpenter B finished it within an hour, and then he used the extra hour to polish the table. He tested it, made it more durable, and since he had the tools to do it, he added braces so it can hold more stuff, which will make a whole lot of difference in the future. Why? Because even though the table was initially designed to just stand on its own and not really made to put items on it, well, the dude started putting items on it. Carpenter A now has no choice but to use temporary measures so the table won't fall apart. These temporary measures add up like a badly stacked Jenga, and it will only be a matter of time before it all falls apart. I know the analogy is pretty dumb, but this is exactly what is happening in the world of Magic right now. The developers started with bad code, built on top of bad code, and are now being forced to replace all of the bad code because it's starting to fall apart. I actually stole this line from a comment from my previous video. Please watch it if you haven't already. Video link in the description. Shout out to Don, by the way, for this amazing comment, and to this guy for committing to the bit. Anyway, enough of that. You must be wondering, if they're only changing tools, then why do they have to build it from the ground up? Changing game engines is not as simple as upgrading tools. They can't just use fancy tools to magically fix the flimsy foundation. Remember the temporary measures? They have to untangle all that mess first before they can actually fix it. They can't just put braces on top of it and hope it works out. Trying to fix decades worth of outdated code is not only inefficient, it's also a pain in the ass. So it's actually way easier to just start from scratch. And this time, they will be way more properly equipped with experience, knowledge, and a way better tool. But changing game engines is not all fine and dandy. There are of course disadvantages among the advantages, but I'm not about to go deep on that topic because this will be an hour-long video and I'm pretty sure you're here for the cool new features and not the boring technical stuff. So what else do we have on the list? Improve server processing speed and OS and database updates. Do I have to explain this? Yeah. Okay. Dumbass. Sorry. That was rude. Plus with the engine update, the optimization of the game will be a whole lot better. I'm guessing that the instances where you can only see players 3 tiles within you will be lessened. I mean, I sure do hope so, cause it's kinda annoying and can break your immersion. Not that you have any playing this game. And the OS updates, I would guess, would be just better compatibility for newer devices. Well, it's actually pretty impressive that they made the game work this long on smartphones when the game was initially made for flip phones. So, good job, game devs. What else is in here? Oh, we're actually in the exciting part now. There are two lines under the game system updates. The first line indicates what they will be remaking, and the second lists down what they will be adding. So let's talk about remakes first, since we have official previews they have shown on their beta testing application site, which by the way is in full Korean and you need Korean mobile number to sign up, which is a bummer because I would actually love to participate in the beta test and give my gamer feedback. And along with the official previews, we have a beta tester that leaked some of the changes and posted it on YouTube. I'll put the link of their channel in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Anyway, along the revamps are most in-game UI or UX, including inventory, enchant, shortcuts, minimap, and chat system. So let's talk about the game UI and UX first. UI is user interface. It's basically what you see on your screen when you use an app, website, or for this instance, play a game. So they are changing how the game looks from the inventory to the chat interface. And along that is the user experience or UX. They are changing the overall experience of the player when playing the game. So I think with the previews and leaks we have seen so far, they are moving on from the retro aesthetic to a more modern and cleaner look, which in my opinion is not the right call, as being retro or old looking is the most recognizable personality of the game. A game without personality is just another game that's just easy to forget and easy to dismiss. That's why the art direction of the game, or just about any media piece, is one of the most important things to decide on, because this reinforces personality that can leave a mark on the consumer, which is important so your product can be easily recognized and it is an easy way to stand out among the competitors. If you just copy other games or other art styles, then you'll only be remembered as the copycat. There are exceptions of course, but I'm not going to talk about it for an hour. But the short version of this is, fuck modernity, man. Embrace tradition. I sound like a fucking boomer. Okay, let's actually talk about the new UI, starting with the inventory, which is I think it's cool and clean. Look, I'll come straight with you. I don't like it. I don't know how to tell you. Remember what I said about personality? Well, it ain't got personality. They pixelated all the skill icons, then made the art for shortcuts really clean. Actually, the icons look like low resolution images rather than pixel art. This just looks like a sad attempt to try to make the UI modern. No one would froth their mouths when they see UI gets modernized. Actually, there is. Fucking NPCs that looks for autoplay in TWOM or just about any game, which is a whole different rabbit hole that I'm not about to get into. Another stuff that they will remake is the enchant system, and from the looks of it, there's a separate tab now for enchanting, extracting, and repairing, which ends the days of trying to enchant random items when you only want to move your enchant scrolls. And the next thing on my list to get mad about is the revamped chat system, which is basically nothing. They basically just got rid of the current keyboard and slapped the keyboard of whatever type of device you're using, which is quite an issue with Android users because some devices take forever for the keyboards to appear. I guess this is only a poor man's issue, but it's still an issue because a huge chunk of players still uses old devices. I mean, if their device can run better games, then I don't think they will be playing the World of Magic in the first place. And they added animations to the emotes, which I don't know how to feel about it yet. My gut is telling me that I prefer the old ones, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it yet. Okay, look, I know this is just the beta preview and things can still change. I mean, I sure do hope so, because I'd rather look like an idiot here getting mad at sneak peeks than live in the reality that this goes through as the final product. I mean, I will still play it because I'm hopelessly addicted to the game, but let's just hope for the best. And I can go on and nitpick just about everything in this preview, like how important information like the crystal points is so small you can barely see it. But this video will just come off as really negative, which I'm pretty sure is already the case. And none of us would enjoy making nor consuming that content, so let's talk about the real exciting stuff. Along with the system remakes, they will be adding stuff as well. They will add quest system, inbox, ranking system, tutorial, and guide. I mean, it's about damn time that developers add these MMO elements to their MMO. And it only took them 13 years, so good job game devs. And the game is in dire need of these systems because frankly, the beginner experience has been miserable. The quest sucks, the reward sucks, and be honest, you only do the main quest in this game just so you can enter the lighthouse. And a good chunk of players doesn't even do this because they just straight up skip the lighthouse when leveling. And I sure do hope that they will do a good job in the tutorial and guides that they will be implementing in the game, so I can finally recommend this game to people without having to backseat and teach them how to play the game. Another neat addition is the mail system. This will make it easier for the devs to send out some rewards for the events, but most importantly, this can be a new avenue for players to interact. I sure do hope that they allow us to send gold items mails to other players so you can have an easier and safer way of transferring your items between your accounts. Speaking of transferring items between accounts, please have the vault storage be account-wide, or at least make a separate vault for all your characters in the same account to have access to. I mean, it's another way for the developers to profit from the item shop, so it's a win-win situation, no? Okay, I left this for last because this is the thing I'm most excited about. The ranking system. So, Ivan, I hear you ask, why are you so excited about the ranking system? Well, because this implies that there's a possibility that I can experience the dread of playing solo queue in TWOM. But please bring back the arenas. Even though I'm dog shit at PvP, I really want the arenas to be back. Because I didn't get to experience it. I took it for granted back then and I didn't really dip my feet into arena PvP. But I want it now and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that wants it. Just make a really fleshed out rank system, really cool rewards, a functional queuing system, and I think you're set up for success. I know I'm asking for a lot, but please add it. Okay, enough begging now. What else do we have on the list? Graphics improvement. Look, I'm not really sure if remaking the pixel animation to this is an improvement. It just looks like a crush of styles, which can be good in some cases, yes, but having the characters have pixel art style and the skill effects to have a low resolution 3D style is not good. I'm not really sure, but I'm glad to be proven wrong. And they just find a sweet spot and make this work, but I just hope they stick to pixel art style, man. Okay. Now that we know what the changes will be, let's talk about how the remake will affect the game. One of the major concerns the players have is the items. They are quite worried that their items will vanish to the ether. Well, that probably won't happen because according to their letter, they will make all the necessary preparations to safely preserve the current game data. Another major concern that the players have for years now actually is the botting problem. Will this remake finally get rid of the botters? Well, they didn't mention it in any way in the letter, but personally, I don't think this remake will magically solve all the botting problems. In fact, I had another concern pop up as I was writing the script for this video. With the engine change, a lot of things are possible for the game now. This remake basically opened the horizons for a lot of cool stuff that you can't even imagine having, like the ranked solo queue I mentioned earlier, or really cool minigames inside the game. And along with this cool stuff, there's also a scary system that they can add that aligns with the modernization of the game. They can fucking add autoplay. You can call me a traditionalist or whatever, but one of the charms of TWOM is that it's grindy, it's tedious, it's almost unforgiving, and it just demands a lot of your time before you can make significant progress. And I mean a lot of time. It's really selfish, and it doesn't respect your time. It's like a really bad bitch that can ruin your life in a moment's notice. But despite everything, you still forgive her because, I mean, come on, she's bad. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, autoplay and TWOM. Anyway, the point is, if they add autoplay, they will basically get rid of one of the biggest pieces that makes TWOM, TWOM. Okay, besides the pixel aesthetic, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear TWOM? It takes fucking forever to level up. You have to kill thousands of mobs with 3 frames of animation before you can gain a single level. It sounds awful, and it is awful. But as you shut your brain off and kill mob after mob, as the yellow bar below the screen slowly fills up, and it finally fills up, and you see this number. It fires up your neurons. It releases happy hormones until you finally kill the next mob that dings your level up. And don't forget to record it or take a screenshot so you can compile it and upload it to YouTube. I'm pretty sure we all have done it. It's a rite of passage at this point, but the reason why you are compelled to record such a moment is because you worked hard for it. It took you weeks of killing mobs. You probably scheduled your training and planned around it. Oh, I have an hour to spare for training after work, or I can finally train after I've done all my homework. This aspect of the world of Magic is one of the determining factors why, despite all the shitty systems, despite all the pay-to-win stuff, despite everything, this is still my favorite game. It basically crawled its way into my life and became a part of it, whether I'd like to admit it or not. And I'm pretty sure that it's also the same case for some of you. I can go on and on why autoplay is bad, but I leave you guys with a quote from our Lord and Savior, As One Gold.
I like the idea of autoplay, theoretically, but the problem is that if you have autoplay, it becomes the meta to always use autoplay. If combat and gameplay is so easy that autoplay could do it, why does it even exist anyway?
Look, I might be freaking out for nothing here. And I probably am, and I sure do hope that I am. But this is a real concern of mine, and I might be the only one that sees this as a bad thing, and adding autoplay to the game might be the most effective way of combating bots. I wouldn't know because I have a bias against autoplay in MMOs. I mean, I'm not completely repulsed to the idea of autoplay or auto battlers in games because that's a concept that can work. I mean, I'm a huge fan of teamfight tactics and I put hundreds of hours into the game. But if pressing a button and watching your character do the gameplay for you is the most effective way of progressing to the game, I don't think that's a game anymore. That's just a glorified crypto miner. But the future might not be so bleak. I know I'm saying a lot of negative things in this video, but that's mostly my pessimism talking. And if I sound like I have way too much expectation from the developers, it's because I do expect a lot from the developers. I mean, they're the one that created this game that I put thousands of hours into. They created this world of Magic that I almost grew up in. I know that's a sad statement to say, but I literally have grown up with this game. I've been playing this game on and off since I was 10. And if you're curious, I'm 20 now, so that's literally a decade of being exposed in this world of Magic. So fucking dumb. And with the new engine update, we will probably have yet another decade, probably more, so yay for that! Another decade of this fucking game. Fuck my life, dude. But jokes aside, it really is a nice thing that they just didn't abandon the game and put a lot of resources into keeping it alive. So good job, game devs. Well, that's probably it for this video. Script writing took what the fuck? It's just a few lines, man. Script writing took me a lot more than I anticipated. And I was originally planning on making weekly videos, but here we are. And thanks a lot for taking your time and watching this video. This video might be on the negative side, but I tried to pull back, and trust me, I pulled back a lot. But these are my genuine feelings about the update, and if you want to see more of me, trust me you will, then subscribe to my channel. That helps a lot. And if you really want to see more, then follow my Twitch, twitch.com/ban_IMO, where I will be streaming randomly. So see you there, I guess. And that's it for me, so bye!